R.I.P. the Masters of the Universe movie. Just the marketing, the anti-marketing being done by the people associated with the Masters of the Universe movie is going to tank the Masters of the Universe movie. Now we have the woman playing Teela, is it Camila Mendes, coming out and saying that, Teela's opponent in this movie is toxic masculinity, like it's 2016 or something.
So they're going to blame the manosphere.
Yes. What the hell? We're going to talk about this, some other stuff that people associated with the movie have said, and how it's probably going to hurt it at the box office. I think this one, we've talked about it actually before we started recording. I think it's going to go down like Dungeons and Dragons, where the movie itself was fine. Actually, I thought the D&D movie was shockingly good. My expectations were on the floor, but I thought it was pretty good. But I didn't watch it for the longest time because the people associated with the movie made it out to be some like man-hating, anti-man, anti-fan thing. And a lot of people didn't go see it. And after the fact, they're like, yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think the same thing is going to happen here.
Because they're really focused on this toxic masculinity. They keep saying, what's it mean to be masculine and all this stuff.
What's it mean to be a man?
And they keep saying it over and over. And all it's going to do is, since your core demographic is mostly men. I mean, women like me like it, but it's majority is men. Let's be honest. And you're just basically, saying things that are going to be like, we hate men. Masculinity is bad. And I don't think that it's a smart thing to do. And even if that's not what they mean, if the movie doesn't even do that, the fact that they're out there making comments and they're going there, when they can talk about all kinds of other elements of the movie, not mention that. And because they're all focused in lockstep on this one topic, it's probably going to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is definitely, even if the movie winds up being good, objectively, if the movie winds up being good, just the fact that, this is the mindset of the people working on a movie called He-Man, and this is after they made the he-him joke on that, whatever. People are going to look for every reason to nope out. I thought
the he-him was kind of funny. But
I thought it was kind of funny too, but anymore, people are so burnt and jaded by the bait and switch shit and previous incarnations of He-Man by people who shall remain nameless, that they're going to look for any reason to nope out. So when you've got the people associated with the movie out there saying shit like this, I can just hear the tickets, the money just like being drained from the bank account.
The kicker is too, early pre-sales currently aren't great anyway.
No,
like they're saying that they're tracking this movie in its entirety to do between like 240 to 480 million globally for its full run. They're saying the movie cost about $200 million. Now they're saying 375 to break even. I don't see how your numbers are numbering, because usually you double it, that would be 400 million. And we know they're spending a ton of money on marketing. They're really marketing the heck out of this one. Doing all kinds of tie-ins, licensing deals. They're trying really, really hard to make it stick. So I'm guessing it's probably closer to 400 million as a break even.
Yeah.
And if it comes in at 240 to 480, unless it comes in on the high end, it's not going to make much money.
No. And I think Mattel was probably hoping this would be another Barbie.
And they could have done well if they weren't out there from day one. Like, they've been talking about this toxic masculinity and what's it like to be a man. They've been saying that since for a while now in the promotion.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is turning people off because they remember the last debacle.
Yes.
And they are like, you lost interest. You were getting it back with some fan goodwill because it looks really good. And
the trailer looks good. The trailer looks good. The toys look good. I like the costumes. I think it looks like I said, I'm getting the same feeling from this one that I got from D&D, where I think it's going to be a fun fantasy adventure movie that probably has a lot of fan service in it, but I think it's going to be destroyed by the people working on the movie who are saying dumb shit right before the movie comes out.
Yes, and that's just it. You need to stop. Because I'm sure they're being asked questions and stuff too, but you really need to...
Loaded questions. It's He-Man.
You really need to be careful not to be saying toxic masculinity and things like that, because there already is a problem, people associating He-Man with that because, he's a muscle guy, so clearly he's toxically masculine.
Blonde hair, blue eyes.
If you've watched He-Man, everybody joked that, Adam was coded gay and everything else, He's not like that at all. But these people, a lot of them didn't grow up with the show. So what you're doing is the audience that you had already, most people that are interested are your existing audience. You're trying to get a new audience. I think that's why they're chasing this toxic masculinity thing. But all you're going to do is just piss off the old audience, and the new audience is not going to come either.
You are about 8 years too late to this party, right? This might have been a selling point back in like 2017, 2016. Right now,
it's the opposite now.
Yeah, and you're trying to get like Gen Z, and they're gonna be like, "What's with the old man toys?" Like the He-Man shit's like it's not selling in the stores. Most of the Targets and WalMarts around us don't even carry Masters of the Universe anymore. Nobody's buying it.
Well, they're starting to show back up, and the $10 figures I think are great because the $10
they're cool
figures,
actually.
They're nice, and it's a fair price point. One of the reasons things don't sell is because they're too expensive. Like if we're getting He-Man figures, we're getting them over at like Ross's when they're on clearance for like $15 because that's
fair.
affordable.
Yeah,
but like their figure prices can go up to like $30 plus on some of these figures, and people just aren't wanting to pay that. So the $10 figures are a fantastic idea for the ones who don't want the collector level Masterverse type things that are with a price tag. I got a Frosted the other day, and I'm actually going to try to put hair on her.
Yes,
and I'm trying to turn her into the new Frosta into a version of the old Frosta. That's neither here nor there, but I'm just saying we buy these figures ourselves. So when we talk about what we're seeing in the stores, it's because we are actually out there buying them. We buy these things ourselves. In the office behind Kneon right now, shit ton of He-Man figures.
Yeah,
bins of them at home.
And I'm gonna be honest, because of the drama around the Revelation, the Kevin Smith shit, and then Geeky had a stalker that was a He-Man stan. I am so checked out from the franchise, but I'm still willing to. Like I saw the trailer, I'm like I'm willing.
Definitely, I'm gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm willing to give this one a chance because it actually looks like. And again, Travis Knight, I'm a big fan of pretty much everything he's ever done. Bumblebee is the only live action Transformers movie I will acknowledge. I'm like, I want it. I want it to be good. That being said, please, Amazon, you need to tell your actors to shut the fuck up. Because right now it's just
they're going to ruin it before it even
they're
starts.
Going to ruin it. People are not get. They're already on the fence about it. You're going to have this movie is get. Honestly, I think there's so much riding on this. I think this movie is make or break for the Masters franchise because I think it's going to determine whether or not this thing is actually viable going forward. Because He-Man did not age like Transformers, did not age like, My Little Pony or some of these other 80s franchises. It's really been hit or miss. And this is coming from a guy who likes it.
It was very iconic in the 80s too, which surprises me. It's not
very iconic. It was super popular in the, early to mid 80s. But then it kind of, I don't know. The 2002 show was good, but as good as that was, it only got like a, season and a half. It didn't. So
you got robbed of She-Ra.
It did, yeah.
But anyway, let's get to what they're saying because
let's get to what they're saying.
We haven't talked about what they said, but yeah.
Anyway, before we get into it any further, please subscribe.
Late.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And apparently, we are the worst thing to ever happen to Masters fandom ever because. We leaked some details about Kevin Smith's He-Man.
On a tweet.
On a tweet, not even a video. Tweet. Just kind of like, hey, we're hearing some things, and it doesn't sound very good, guys.
Things were true.
They were true. So, yeah, let's talk about this. Fandom Pulse, which is, this was written by John Trent, who was the founder of Bounding Into Comics, and he's no longer there, but he's over on Fandom Pulse now. He's going to talk about... Teela's actress affirming the film will explore toxic masculinity. God, don't do this.
Just don't even use the term. That's a stupid thing. Interview means just you can even rephrase it a different way. It's talking about she's usually around a lot of men. That's all you had to say. You had to make it toxic masculinity.
I always thought as a kid, I thought Teela was kind of a bitch. I'm gonna be honest. Like she was unnecessarily mean to Adam.
Ginger, so.
But she was so mean to Adam. Like she was just like really, really mean to him. Like I get like the guy's a schlub or whatever, but I'm also like, you're mean to this guy and you're also blind as hell because it's literally He-Man with a pink vest on. Like, come on. And how the hell was Adam that
she's
built?
She's a stupid bitch. Anyway,
she's just a dumb bitch. Yeah. How the hell?
He's kidding.
How did you miss like his freaking muscles and his whatever? It's like, yeah, Adam just lays around all day. He should be like some
everyone, to be fair, everyone around him were dumb bitches, to be fair. But
they were.
So it's hard to talk about Teela without talking about her relationship to her father, because I feel like so much of who she is has to do with how she was, I guess, let down as a kid. And I feel like that really built this outer wall around her that's sort of like shielding her inner sensitivity. Well, yes and no. She's affected by toxic masculinity just as much as the men in the film.
Toxic masculinity.
She could just say she's affected by relationships and what people assume she should be like the rest of the men in the film. She didn't. Toxic masculinity. she continued, and I think she's sort of adopted masculinity to protect herself in this very masculine world. It's how she survives. She's in survival mode. She has been for a long time.
So she's a bitch in this movie too.
I don't know, but apparently, because she's in trouble because she's going to be toxically masculine because all the men around her are toxically masculine, and including her dad, but. Duncan isn't actually he's her adopted dad.
So
he's not her real dad, and her mom ditched her.
To save her. So this big huge plot spoiler from a 40-plus-year-old franchise, whatever. Teela, originally the action figure was designed to be the goddess, was designed to be the sorceress. That's why she had the snake armor, all that. In the cartoon, they made the sorceress a separate character, and she had a bird costume, and she could turn into a bird because they had the Zor toy, which was from Big Jim. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, the bird was her mom. She was in a nest. Duncan, who's man-at-arms, found her, adopted her, and he knows the bird's her mom. And someday she's going to be the sorceress. That's basically it.
They apparently have kids in a nest, too.
Yeah, and there's a dad somewhere. Now, in I think the 2002 series, it was implied that the sorceress was actually the wife of King Grayskull, and there's like a whole thing going on there, too. But who the hell? I don't know.
I don't know. But anyway, the point is, he raised her, so I'm assuming they mean him as the dad. But he's the also
stepdad. He's foster dad.
He's also the he'd be adoptive father, but he's also the he's man at arms. He's in charge of the royal guard. I mean, of course he's going to be edgy and he's going to teach his kid what he knows, which is how to fight, how to protect yourself, and you should teach girls how to do that anyway. But you could have said, because of the demands of the life, because of the war and all that, she is kind of hardened and more masculine because she was raised by a single dad. And no, it's toxic masculinity. I'm like, oh my god, please, I think of all the things I have to say.
My memory is a little fuzzy, but I'm thinking back to because I just remember the 2002 show. I think Fisto was actually.
I was gonna say I thought Fisto was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think Fisto was her biological dad, and then they made Fisto Duncan's brother. I don't know. I heard that they were going to make Fisto. I don't know. So Fisto's in this too. It depends on the version, but
the Kevin Smith one, Duncan was her dad.
But I'm also like, yeah, that was the impression I got when I was a kid was that Duncan boinked a bird, and that's where Teela came from. Like, I had a fling with a bird. She can't leave the castle. You were hatched from an egg or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, so she's got daddy issues and man issues.
Yeah, apparently. But that thing's okay. I get that. But she could have said the same kind of thing in a different way without using toxic masculinity. And they keep using this.
Yeah.
It wasn't the first time, because the guy who made the film was talking about toxic masculinity before too. And it's like, you guys don't understand that this is going to bite you in the ass. Because the audience you want are often accused of this, even if it's not true.
So this is the now Phantom Pulse, actually they've put a lot of the quotes up from people working on it on Twitter today, and this is the writer Chris Butler explaining what he and director Travis Knight wanted to accomplish. A lot of what Travis and I wanted it to be was a nod to the things that we love so much as kids.
Okay.
Take it back to its original. Okay,
Sounds
cool.
good.
If Barbie was the toy for girls, He-Man was the toy for men. That's true. It was about might and power and being top dog, and so definitely thematically I wanted to lean into that and what it means to be a man and what it means to be human. Well, that
sounds good. That was fine.
But
that was fine and fair.
Travis Knight shares that the film explores what masculinity is.
Why are they so focused on what masculinity is? You just bad guy, good guy. Bad muscle guy, he has the power, and he's going to defend all his friends because he's the good guy, and he's going to kick the bad guy's ass. Not that deep.
In the 80s, the mantra was real men don't cry, boys don't cry. If you express any kind of vulnerability, you must immediately punch a fence post to establish equilibrium. I will tell you, as a person who grew up in the 80s, that is 100% true.
I'm not saying it's not true.
That came from my mom. My mom, like, if I would cry about, she'd be shut up. Boys don't cry.
My family wasn't like that. But I do know other people were.
I was like, yeah, shut up or I'll give you something to cry about. That was the way it was in my family. So I was like, yeah, I don't cry. I just hit things. Anyway, I got into a lot of fights. It was a really interesting way for us to explore these things that are happening in our culture, for us to compare and contrast what that stuff meant in the 80s versus what it means now. He went on to note He-Man's character from the original cartoon. Now, this is where we get into the weeds the multiple versions of He-Man, because He-Man in the cartoon, I'm going to be honest, he was a kinder, gentler Superman, like fatherly, like He-Man. He was like your big bro. In the comics and other media, he was a barbarian, right?
But the thing is, what most people remember was the cartoon.
Yeah, most people remember
the cartoon, which was associated with the toys. That's what people remember. Very few people, let's be honest here, read like the comics and stuff, other than the ones that came with the toys.
Yeah, he was talking about kindness. He was talking about friendship and compassion. He was somebody who cared, and he was essentially
he'd do his little message at the end of the show.
They had to do that.
I know they did.
They had to do the PSAs to run the toy commercials.
Hey, we kids learned a lot of. I think that was beneficial. I think a lot of kids were kept safe or learned things from those PSAs.
Sometimes it got creepy though. Like I think there was one where Orko's talking about bad touch. I'm like, oh my god.
Hey, you know
even
what?
as a kid,
Again,
I'm like, oh my god, Orko.
Again, I think that those PSAs were great. I think that they actually, some of them were like, no one's that stupid. But I think a lot of them were like really good, and they probably did save some kids.
Pork chop sandwiches. Did you ever see that from G.I. Joe?
No.
Pork chop sandwiches. I'll show it to you after the episode. I'll show it to you. Pork chop sandwiches.
I just remember knowing's half the battle, G.I. Joe.
Yeah, well, that was one of them, but it was barbecue, and he's talking about the pork chop sandwiches. So anyway, he was essentially a bronzed empathy coach in furry underpants. It was unique. It was different. It certainly was for a kid like me. I was a sensitive kid.
He was an empathy coach?
He was, well, He-Man, and like, look, I'm going to be honest, because He-Man, it skewed younger. The show skewed younger. That would have been Lou Scheimer. That he wanted to turn He-Man into Superman. He basically did. He-Man, She-Ra were our Superman and Wonder Woman.
I get that. But I mean, I'm also kind of like, okay, where she's going too far saying toxic masculinity, this guy seems to be going too far the other way.
Being like,
to chase people off with, he's an emotional support coach.
And he's an emotional support animal for Teela.
What? Anyway.
It's Teela's emotional support dog. Get him, Adam. Get him. I'm feeling bitchy today.
Well, bitch is a girl dog, so there you go.
Yeah, so he was a weird guy, sensitive kid. You might say I made friends slowly when I made them and all. I feel bad for him.
I kind of was like that too. I tried, and people were just like, I mean, I don't know. I was always kind of like the kid that always had trouble. And then, like I told you that time that when I was in 6th grade, like my class they would pick on kids for a while and not talk to them. I wouldn't participate. So when other kids would be ignored, I would talk to them still until they came for me. And then everybody ignored me. And then I got it worse because I refused to fall in line and bully people. So I got it worse. And so I get it. I get it.
I feel bad though, because I had a lot of friends, but I was kind of an asshole. But I used to get bullied too, but then I sort of went the other way, and I was like, fuck.
Oh, so you're kind of an asshole then?
Oh no, you would. Oh my god, I tell you, like I tell her, so every once in a while, the kids call it a lore drop. Every once in a while, there's a new like dad lore drop, and Geeky's like, what the hell? Like, what the hell? It's like, what are you? Yeah, I mean, I got bullied when I was younger, and then I basically did an 80s kid, training montage, whatever shit I went through. And then I was basically like, don't fuck with me. And that's kind of how I am now. Don't fuck with me.
It's called toxic masculinity now.
It's called toxic masculinity.
Let's get to the point. So they said basically, I had, because I was bullied as a kid, didn't have many friends. I liked He-Man because He-Man felt like a friend. Which
I used to play He-Man with my friends, loser. No.
Honestly, that was awful. But honestly though, I get it. Like I think I know what he's saying, because, and I think that there's so many stories that have come out about
I get it.
He-Man and how much these kids were abused. These kids had different things going on, and it helped them get through. So I get where he's coming from, and I see what he's meaning, and I understand like a lot better than you apparently. But that being said, by saying either using toxic masculinity to describe the movie or the opposite, where he's like the most empathetic, loving person ever, I think you're going to lose your core audience between the two extremes instead of just like showing and not telling.
So when we meet Adam, according to Nicholas Galitzine, who said before that we were going to get the toxic masculine and feminine versions of He-Man or whatever, but he said He-Man's depressed when we meet him. So he's depressed, which we kind of got from the trailer, like he's working a shit job, and you know, let's be honest. In the real world, he'd be doing like OnlyFans or something, right? He wouldn't be working at the HR or whatever.
That's a big jump, but okay.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, it's like,
okay, look, Adam. Now bend over and put the fries in the bag.
You know,
anyway.
Abs in a pink shirt. I mean, come on, you know. But no, yeah. Oh my God, that'd be funny if he worked fast food. Adam, put the fries in the bag.
They call him or he's doing OnlyFans instead of Bonnie Blue. They call him Adam. Well, it wouldn't be Blue Balls, but you know what I mean. So,
Adam Blue Balls is his OnlyFans name?
Well, he wouldn't be honestly, it wouldn't be Blue Balls.
Watch me raise my mighty sword aloft.
This is why I'm not allowed to speak. Anyway,
Adam Blue Balls. Sorry. Anyway, so he's all depressed and sad. Actually, you know what? Even before Camila Mendes opened her mouth, Jared Leto. That's.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh my God. Jared Leto is in the movie. The movie's doomed. It doesn't matter how good it is.
Saying stupid stuff is Jared Leto. Like, you know, you have him in the movie, and obviously his voice is very different than what Skeletor. And I'm still not sold on that because like Skeletor needs to sound like Skeletor. But anyway, because it's iconic. If it wasn't so iconic, I wouldn't worry about it. But it's very iconic, so it's kind of off-putting. But you know, he's not out there saying stupid stuff. At least.
Anyway.
Like, stop saying things that are going to hurt your movie before it comes out. It could be a really good movie. And if it is, we will tell you because we'll be going to see it. But it could be a very, very good movie that they're going to preemptively, you know, kill.
Yes. Yep.
Because they're out there saying these two extremes. Oh, he's the kinder, gentler, most sweetest, sensitive empathy coach ever. And then you're like, toxic masculinity. And it's
with Blue Balls.
Either of those things are going to ruin the people. They're not going to come to your movie. Do not say joke. Shut up.
If they would come more often, I'm just saying.
I knew I'm just saying.
There's a cure for that. All right, are we gonna wrap this up?
Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about the popcorn buckets.
Yeah, there's popcorn buckets. Of course there is. Yeah, the only money this movie's gonna make is off the popcorn buckets, which are actually pretty cool.
I want the Castle Grayskull. I really
Castle
do.
Grayskull looks pretty cool. They have
that. They have the sword. The sword is huge and it's a sipper. Just stop.
You can drink from the tip.
No, it's from the handle.
Sorry, this is great. I might actually pick it. Actually, the Skeletor, even though it's Jared Leto, it's actually pretty damn cool.
No, I think the Skeletor, I like the Castle Grayskull. The sword is a sipper, which I think is really cool. They have the Stig Mountain throne too, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I thought that was like an action figure playset or something. But
the Battle Cat. They have a giant Battle Cat popcorn bucket too. Like they have plushies, but the Battle Cat in the picture there, it's actually a popcorn bucket. Saddle opens up. I actually kind of like that one too.
That one's actually I thought it was actually the toy.
No, it's a popcorn bucket.
The toys look pretty cool. I can't wait till they come to Ross's. I mean, I'm buying for like $10 each.
These ones won't because they're popcorn buckets. But my next thing is like, you know, I don't know how big the popcorn bucket is for Battle Cat, but is it big enough to fit like the He-Man Mattel Barbie doll on it?
That'd be kind of funny. Yeah, I do like the
He-Man doll.
He-Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the bad the plushies are cool too. I mean, the one good thing to come out of this is the merch is nice. Like the toys look good. This stuff looks good. So as a collector, even if the movie is not great, some of the stuff is pretty cool. They got the sword right. That is He-Man's sword.
I love the sword.
That looks very good. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a flop, but it might be a good movie. Yeah. Two things can be true at once, right?
That's what I think. I think it's going to be like they keep talking like they're talking. I think it's going to be a D&D situation.
Yeah. Yeah, which means it's going to be DOA at the box office, but people will come to appreciate it later, maybe, hopefully. Anyway, I went to the theater to go see the original one. Did you know that? Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah, I went to the original to go see the original He-Man. Of course, I went to the original to go see the original He-Man, dumbass. But I went to the original He-Man movie back in the 80s. I remember going with, I think I went with my cousin. But I remember thinking it was weird to go see a He-Man movie in 1987 because at that point He-Man was over. It was like
done.
It
kind of was.
And then I watched the movie and I'm like, Yeah, I see why He-Man's done. They really jumped the shark with this one. I mean, there were some cool moments, but it was like, yeah, it just felt really cheap. Felt like a cheap movie.
I was trying to see if Cinemark had any prices up yet for stuff, but I don't see it. They're going to be really expensive, I guarantee it.
I'm sure they are. I mean, also that's what's keeping theaters in business now. Are the damn popcorn buckets, like probably $50, $60 for Castle Grayskull, $30 for a Skeletor head. They still have Tron. Now, speaking of Jared Leto, our movie theater, they still have a bunch of Tron popcorn buckets from like several months ago. Like, what's it been, like 6 months since that movie came out?
They're not lowering the price either.
They're not lowering the price. Like, I would buy it we were talking about today, like, I'd buy one for 10 or 15 bucks because it lights up and it's a Tron arcade machine. I'm like, that looked pretty cool. I'd get one of those.
I'm
trying
to see if I can find out how much
I'm paying full price for it. The movie was not good.
They're showing the stuff, but
okay.
I don't think they're saying prices and what they are, which sucks because I really would like to know the prices for this stuff. So, anyway,
we're gonna wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.